Hi everyone, and welcome back to our wellness channel. Today, we are talking about combating cyberbullying. This is one of the biggest challenges young people face today because so much of our social life, friendships, and even school happens online. In this video, we'll learn what cyberbullying actually looks like, why it's harmful, and most importantly, how to protect ourselves and support others. By the end, you'll walk away with practical strategies you can use, whether you're the target, a bystander, or a friend. Now let's start with a clear definition. Cyberbullying is any form of bullying or harassment that happens online or through digital devices. That includes mean comments on posts, spreading rumors, sharing private information without permission, or excluding someone from group chats. It could even be subtle things like ignoring someone in an online game or posting inside jokes that are meant to leave someone out. If it's hurtful, unwanted, and repeated, and it happens through technology, that is cyberbullying, and it's more common than we often realize. Now, why is this movement such a big deal? Well, it doesn't just make you feel good, it makes your brain and body stronger. And it's important to address cyberbullying in our world where one can feel so stressed out, one can feel so hurt and emotionally unavailable for. Some people say it's just online. It doesn't really matter. But think about it. Our phones are with us all the time. That means when bullying happens online, it feels like there's no escape. It can follow someone into their bedroom, into their free time, and even into their sleep. The emotional impact is real. Cyberbullying has been linked to stress, anxiety, depression, struggles in school, and damaged friendships. So when we talk about cyberbullying, we're not just talking about what happens on a screen, we're talking about protecting mental health and overall well-being. Here's something eye-opening. A 2023 Pew Research survey found that nearly 37% of teens have been cyberbullied at least once. That means more than 1 in 3 individuals. And remember, those are just reported cases. Many teens never tell anyone what they're going through, which means the true numbers are probably higher. Behind every statistic is a real person, and that's why this conversation matters. If so many people are facing this, we need to know how to step up. Now, cyberbullying isn't always obvious because it can take many forms. 1, public shaming, like posting embarrassing photos or videos to humiliate someone. Exclusion, like leaving someone out of a group chat or blocking them from an online game. Impersonation, where someone creates a fake account to mock or spread lies about you. And direct attacks, like cruel messages, name-calling, or threats. Sometimes it's big and obvious, other times it's subtle, and you might not realize how hurtful it is unless you've experienced it. But no matter the form, the impact is heavy. So why do people choose to bully online? There are a few reasons. Some do it for power and control. They feel bigger when they make someone else feel small. Others do it for attention or to get laughs from peers. For some, it comes from insecurity because putting someone else down makes them feel better temporarily. And often group behavior and peer pressure play a role. People go along with it to fit in. And of course, the screen makes it feel easier. When you don't have to see the person's reaction in real life, you can forget that real feelings are being hurt. Now let's talk about bystanders for a second. If you're watching cyberbullying happening and you're doing nothing, it can feel like the safest choice. But it often allows the bullying to continue. On the flip side, bystanders have incredible power. Sometimes all it takes is one person to say, "Hey, that's not okay." Or one person to report the post for others to follow. Small actions like checking in on a friend who's been targeted, refusing to share harmful content, or privately supporting them can make a huge difference. The truth is, silence can protect the bully, but action can protect the victim. Let's put this into a real situation. Alex starts getting daily anonymous DMs about his appearance. They're cruel, they're repetitive, and they feel impossible to escape. At first, Alex tries to ignore them, but the messages keep piling up. Soon, just checking his phone makes him anxious. Even though the bully hides behind an anonymous username, the sting is real. This is a targeted harassment and anonymous cyberbullying. It shows how the internet can give bullies a mask, but the harm is deeply personal. Now, what can Alex do, though, in this situation? Well, the first step is to document everything. Screenshots are important evidence. Next, Alex can report and block the account. He should also confide in a trusted adult, whether that's a parent, teacher, or school counselor. And to protect his own mental health, he might limit his time on the app when the harassment is happening. The big lesson here, anonymous doesn't mean untouchable. Platforms take reports seriously, and with evidence and support, harassment can be stopped. The effects of cyberbullying go far beyond the screen. Emotionally, it can lead to anxiety, depression, and the constant feeling of being unsafe. Physically, it can cause headaches, trouble sleeping, or even stomachs. And academically, it often affects focus, grades, and attendance. People sometimes say they're just words. But words leave scars. The screen may hide a bully's face, but the mark on someone's heart and mind can last a long time. Now let's bust a few myths. Myth 1. If it's not real, if it's in line. Fact. Online bullying can be just as harmful as face-to-face. Myth 2. If you ignore it, it will stop. Frankly, ignoring sometimes encourages more bullying because the bully thinks they can get away with it. Myth 3. Only kids get cyberbullied. Anyone, teens, adults, and even professionals can be targets. The internet doesn't discriminate, which is why awareness is so important. Now, you may not realize it, but you have rights online. You have the right to block or report abusive accounts. You have the right to privacy and control over your information. And if cyberbullying affects your learning, schools are responsible for addressing it. Knowing your digital rights gives you power. It reminds you that you don't have to just accept harmful behavior. You can stand up against it and expect support. Resilience means being able to bounce back from these challenges. Digital resilience is the same, but for online life. Some ways to build it include unfollow toxic accounts, create online spaces that can lift you up, and make sure you balance screen time with offline hobbies and friendships. And remind yourself, someone else's cruel comment is not your truth. Here's a quick tip. Every time you unfollow a negative account, it's like taking a heavy stone out of your backpack. It makes the journey forward feel lighter. So how do you respond if you're targeted? There are 3 steps. First, of course, document it. Screenshot everything before it disappears. Second, block and report the bully and use the platform's tool. And third, tell someone, don't go through it alone. And remember the golden rules. Don't respond in anger because that often accelerates things. Silence combined with actions is often more powerful than arguing back. And always know it's not your job to fix the bully. It's your job to protect yourself. Now, also, being a good friend is huge. If someone comes to you about cyberbullying, do listen without interrupting. Offer to help them collect evidence. Encourage them to reach out to a trusted adult or a helpline. And check in regularly. Even a small "how are you doing" text matters. But here's what not to do. Don't minimize their experience with comments like, "it's not that bad." And don't share their story without permission. Think, if you were in their shoes, how would you want someone to respond? Now, let's look at Maya. She's suddenly removed from her friend group chat. Later, she finds out they've been making inside jokes about her behind her back. They never send direct insults, but the exclusion hurts. Maya feels isolated and she starts questioning her place in the group. This is a type of cyberbullying called social exclusion or indirect bullying. Even without name calling, the silence and hidden conversations are just as damaging. So what should Maya do? First, recognize that exclusion is a valid form of harm. It's not just a misunderstanding, it makes you feel unwanted. Next, she can talk to a trusted friend or mentor to process her feelings. Instead of chasing approval from people excluding her, she should invest in friendships that uplift and support her. And setting boundaries, like limiting time with the group, can protect her self-esteem. It's about valuing herself enough to step away from hurtful spaces. There are some practical tools that make the online world safer. You can block, mute, or restrict accounts, as we've said before, and sometimes the person won't even know you did it. You can also report features to let the platform know about harmful behavior. There are even apps like Bark or Quest Studio that help parents monitor for risks. And don't forget external resources. StopBullying.gov has strategies. The crisis text line, text HOME to 741-741, offers free 24/7 support, and the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is always available if things feel overwhelming. These are lifelines, not last resorts. Before we finish, here's your challenge. What healthy digital habit will you start this week? Maybe you'll unfollow accounts that make you feel insecure. Maybe you'll double check your privacy settings this weekend. Or maybe you'll pledge to simply speak up if you see cyberbullying. Write it down or say it out loud. This is your pledge to your future self, a promise to protect your own well-being online. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in.